Peace, I already know who it is, asharenu. Back up in here once again. So I have sort of a message for everybody today. So I wanna speak as slow as possible. I want everybody to grasp as much as you possibly can. I've been up for about an hour. You know, in Vegas, like, since the sun is so, what's up, profoundly dignified. When you in Vegas, like, the sun keeps you moving. What's up, Kush Goddess? Like, the sun doesn't relax you. The sun keeps you moving. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't a place where, you know, like, people on the beach, they go to the beach and they just, you know, they just chill out in the sun. Like, this ain't the type of sun to do stuff like that. So the sun, you have to constantly motion. Otherwise, if you still in the sun, you're just gonna just stand there and sweat and just be wet and uncomfortable. So the only way to keep yourself warm, or actually not warm, to keep yourself cooled off, you gotta constantly be in motion. So pretty much every morning, you pretty much waking up to the sun. And again, since you can't really just take the sun, you know, if your sleep is gonna wake you up, because it's gonna be like some insanely hot pressure on you. But that's neither here nor there. Just giving y'all some background to the atmosphere. We're about maybe like a mile away from the strip. So let me let y'all see these buildings real fast before we get to the video. So give me 1 second. Let me turn this camera around. All right. Let me put the color back in so y'all can see what the deal is. All right, that's fine. So as you see, there's a Luxor, Mandalay Bay. That's another building, like a tower for the Luxor. I believe that's the Excalibur. MGM. You know, it's a lot of buildings. I have no idea. I think that's, I'm not gonna name all these joints. Just giving y'all some insight. Okay, let's turn this back. So this is, actually, let me do a 360. Let me do a 360 so y'all can just get a feel of the whole atmosphere. Oh yeah, it's definitely hot. It's definitely in triple digits every day, bro. It's like you just get used to it. You know what I mean? You just get used to it. So just giving y'all, let me put the color back in for those who want to see the color. Just giving y'all a 360. So this is just like, this is right by the airport. So the airport owns this land. So this is where they land the planes. So the airport is pretty much over there. So the plane comes in like that. So they don't have nothing built right here and nothing built over here. So they have this long strip so they can land the planes. Right. So this is basically the east side of Vegas from the strip. So this is east of the strip for y'all who want exact coordinates. So you see it's not really too much going on over here. So let me turn the camera back around. All right. And that's also another reason why I wanted to make this video as well, because it's hot all over the place. So what's up, homie? It's hot everywhere. And a lot of people is complaining about the heat. But, you know, I just got a revelation. I've been meditating in this field, right? So I've been meditating in this field, and I just got the revelation. It was 110 in LA. That's us every day, man. That's us every day. So that's the thing about Vegas. You see, like, California is a smooth heat. California is a smooth heat. So like when it's hot like that in California, that's kind of unusual. That's not really normal California, but in Vegas, that's normal. Like you know, you getting a heat wave every single day of the summer, unless it rains. Like unless it rains, then you got to deal with the heat wave. But that's just because you're in the desert. You know what I mean? Because we're in a desert versus when you're, when you're in California, you're in a more tropical environment. Because we're in a desert, it's a very dry environment. So you're dealing with the fire element, like this is raw fire, So, and again, I know like when I say LA, I'm talking about the whole California. It's just easier for me to say LA, but I'm referring to the whole West Coast. I'm talking about Arizona, talking about California, talking about Washington, talking about Vegas, talking about Utah, talking about the whole West Coast. I'm just used to saying LA, it's just like in the tip of my tongue, but I'm talking about the whole West Coast. But that's the West is dealing with the fire element anyway. But again, let's get to the point of the video. But it's hot everywhere. I believe it's hot in New York too. It's hot on the East Coast. It's hot down south. It's hot in the Midwest. So, like I said, I've been meditating in this field, and I just got revealed some information as to why all this stuff is going on anyway in terms of with the heat wave that has become hot. Not something that's cooled off, something that has become hot. What do I mean? Like, for example, that has become hot. Not something that's cooled off. You have many people who prefer to work with deities that are calm, deities that are more like angelic, right? Deities that you really don't have to test yourself or challenge yourself to deal with, because the deity may be friendly, the energy may be friendly, the spirit may be friendly, and that's all in this description. So there's really, there's really no challenge, I would say, in working with certain spirits. However, when we're dealing with the walking dead, when we're dealing with energy that is more hot, more volatile, more explosive, right? Exactly, madness, destruction, chaos, the number 13, the number 23, right? When we're dealing with energy of this nature, of a chaotic nature, then you can say this is a spirit that freed the slaves in the Haitian Revolution, as well as in the Americas, as well as the rest of the world, right? This is the energy that frees slaves. So this is the energy that the slaves tap into to get free. That's why the rebellions are super, super explosive, and people is dying, kids are dying, you know what I mean? Like, that's why when you hear stories about Nat Turner and people like that, where they were killing the whole family. They're not just killing the slave master, they're killing the slave master, they're killing the wife, and they're killing the kids. This is representative of the zombie spirit, or the rebellious spirit, or the revolutionary spirit that has heated up, that may have been cold at some point, but that has now heated up. And that's going beyond logic. It's tapping into the primordial and the primitive energies on earth that allows a person to transcend in that particular manner using the fire element. Because we're in Vegas, because we're in the desert, you see a manifestation of this energy more so than maybe other places. Now again, I can't speak for every place, but I can just speak for what I've seen in my own personal experience. So, taking it a step further, they talk about this a lot in the voodoo tradition, for those who may be familiar with the voodoo tradition, meaning you have two types of deities. You have the cold spirits and you have the hot spirits, or if you want the technical terms, it's the Rada spirits and the Preto spirits, or the Petro, I'll spell it out for you if you want to research. So you have the Rada, R-A-D-A spirits, which are like the cooler spirits. Then you have the Petro spirits, which is P-E-T-R-O. Those are the hot spirits, the volatile spirits, meaning they want results quick. They give you results quick, and they want offerings real quick. They don't like to waste time. They don't really like humans. They really don't like humans anyway. So you only, work with these deities if you're more advanced. So just giving y'all a little background before we go a little deeper. So these are the type of spirits that you will work with when you're more advanced. This isn't the type of spirit that you will work with as a beginner, because they're not really friendly. You know, they're not really caring about how novice you are. If you don't know what you want, if you don't know what you're doing, then they don't mind, you know, just pushing you out the way. You know, this is definitely just energies that they don't submit like another deity would submit. In other words, like you have another energy like a Rada spirit would pretty much like sit down and have a conversation with you about whatever is going on, versus this fire energy. It's not trying to sit down at all. It's like, well, what do you want? What are you going to give in return? All right, I'm about to get it done immediately, and I want my offering immediately. And it ain't no need to speak any more about that. So this is the type of mentality that they have, and this is the type of energy that's on the planet at this particular time. This is why we've been dealing with such a heat wave. This is like a portal. It opens up a portal for these spirits to come in, because that's, you know, it's a lot of people that just don't like Mother Nature. A lot of people don't like the heat, just like a lot of people don't like the cold, because we have been so accustomed to living inside or indoors. So a lot of people just really don't have to deal with Mother Nature, right? Most people don't really deal with Mother Nature the way that we would deal with Mother Nature back in the day. So they're not really connected with the earth element, and they're not connected to the elementals or the elemental spirits, right? So they don't know nothing about, you know, those dragons or those snakes or those mermaids or those fairies or those gnomes. You know, the elementals, they have no knowledge of that, because most of the time the people who had knowledge of these secrets were people who slept outside, or people who were outside majority of the time, and who knew how to connect with the spiritual nature of the earth. But because all that has pretty much been erased, at least in America, I'm not speaking for the whole world. Of course, there are people who are still connected with their culture. But in terms of America, since majority of the people are not connected with anything of that nature, at least on the mainstream level. On the mainstream level, I'm not talking about the people that already know, who have done their studies, or who may have been connected to a bloodline and it has been passed down during the generations. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the average everyday person just has no knowledge of how any of these things work. So they just have to receive information even if they don't understand the source. So what is the purpose of working with these type of spirits if you choose to? For one, this is for the advanced practitioner. This is for a person who is really not, they're really trying to transcend to the next level. Like, all right, I'm tired of working with all these soft deities. I'm tired of working with all these angelic spirits. I'm tired of working with all these deities who, you know, want to take their time. See, the cooler spirits take their time. You can kind of say they may even be lazy. They kind of do things on their own time because they don't feel rushed for anything, because their spirit is not on fire. They're more calm and more meditative. Versus this spirit who wants things instantly, who wants to transcend time and space, who wants to go directly to the source, get what they need, and bring it back. So these deities are like in hyperspace, or operating at hyper speed. These deities can transcend. These deities don't have to follow the rules and regulations that have been laid down in the matrix. So these deities have the ability to go beyond the matrix and make things happen on their own. Creation directly from thought, creation directly from sound. So they already have this natural born birthright that we all have within us. They are utilizing this on a level that has transcended human thought. So that's the first thing. So if you are looking to transcend human thought, and what does it mean to transcend human thought? What it means to transcend human thought is you're just not thinking on a linear level. You no longer think linear. You no longer think past, present, future. You look at all these things as elements or aspects of time, and time is one big circle. Therefore, you can go outside of this circle and be looking at time from the outside in, and be able to see more of what's going on, versus time being a straight line. And if you're standing at the center, you can only kind of see what's behind you or in front of you vaguely. So you have to walk further to the past or further to the future to see things more clearly, versus when you look at things as one circle. So the past isn't more relevant than the future. The future is not more relevant than the now. It's all time, and it can be transcended using the power of thought. So these type of spirits work a lot more faster. They want results a lot more faster, and you know what I mean, they don't play games. They're not with the shits. These are war deities. These are the deities that are summoned when revolution is at hand, when war is at hand, where there is no more talking, where you have somebody that's coming to invade your land or to try to take something that's yours, or try to take away your position, take away your power. These are the deities that you summon to make sure that everything that's rightfully yours stays within your possession. You know, whether it be on a physical level, whether it be on a mental level, a spiritual level, or an emotional level. So these deities are very, very violent, you know, very, very volatile. So this is not for beginners, but these are strictly for those people who feel like they are ready for the next level. They're ready to deal with more powerful spirits, more quicker spirits, get quicker results. And they're willing to do the same. They're willing to work within that hyperspeed and within that hyperspace themselves as well to get knowledge of that realm. Because that's a whole different realm, you know, that we can tap into. That many people are just afraid, you know what I mean? Because whether we want to call this energy demonic, let me go over here. Whether we want to call this energy demonic or not. But this is the energy that, you can say this is the energy that all this stuff that we have to deal with on a daily basis when it comes to spirituality. This is the energy that they try to oppress or suppress because it's so powerful, right? And again, forgive me, I literally just woke up, so I got all type of stuff on my face. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I gotta say this immediately. You know what I mean? Let me do everything I need to do for myself later. Let me get this message out, and I keep it moving. You know what I mean? So let me let these people walk past. All right. Anyway, let us continue, right? So what are some precautions for working with these deities? Let me see if I can actually think of a name. I don't really like to name drop a deity. I like for people to do their own research. But let me see if I can name drop. Okay, so a simple name would be Khufu. Kalfou, right? Kalfou. This is the deities that gangsters use, right? This is the deity that people in the underworld use for safety and success, safety and being protected from enemies, and success in whatever missions that they may be enduring, success at whatever mission they have before them. So this is also letting you know that spirit transcends man's law, for those who just may not understand that. Because again, a lot of people may say like, yo, why would gangsters even have a spirit dedicated to them? Aren't they engaged in a wrong life? Aren't they on the left-hand path? Why would we even have spirits for them if these people are doing wrong? Right? Why would you even have a whole pantheon of spirits to help people who's doing wrong and to help damage people? And the answer to that is, again, spirit understands warfare. Spirits understand that you can be good in your heart, but there still will be people out here that want to hurt you. There still will be people out here who want to see you, you know what I mean, suffer. People that want to see you, you know, have to go through hardships. People that just don't have your best interests at heart at all, which is 85% of the fucking population of the world. If we want to be 100, This is why why do you always hear keep your circle small? You really don't have any real friends when it comes to business and success. So on and so forth. We hear all this, we just don't want to listen, right? This is just reality. The reality is everybody's out here for themselves. Everybody's trying to feed themselves and their family. And if it has to be at your expense, then so be it. You really think your fucking co-workers will lose their job in your honor? Or vice versa? Are you going to sacrifice your job because that may be your friend or who you consider a friend? But now you can't pay your fucking rent? I don't think so. So we just got to be real. We just got to understand that everything is business. We got to take our emotions out of it. That's the whole point of these spirits. These spirits don't deal with emotions. These spirits are like strictly business because that's the way it is. And that's the way it has to be in the times we're in, where you really don't know who to trust. We got all this misinformation out here. We got all these people who are literally getting paid to lie to you. There's literally people living in luxury, living a life that everybody else is trying to achieve when they're paid by outside sources to tell lies, to throw you off. So let's look at these dynamics. Let's really look at these dynamics. So you have people put in position to lie to you to keep you thrown off. And in return, they live in luxury. They live the lifestyle that you're chasing after, that everybody else wants, right? The whatever success means to you. There are people who are living this so-called successful life, but they're doing so by lying to the vast majority of the people. So what is the point? So like people are literally being paid to tell lies. And because we have these dynamics going on, it's hard to tell who's real and who's not, because you don't know what type of deals that people have been making under the table that you may not be aware of. Like everybody doesn't have as pure intentions as we may think. You may have came into the game with a pure heart, but a lot of people leave this motherfucker with no soul because they made deals with certain entities or certain spirits that what they truly wanted more than anything is to live luxury. They didn't really care about helping the people. They just cared about the money. And the people like that who are just strictly about the money, who don't really care about the people, they don't give a fuck about making underhand deals, signing underhand contracts, you know what I mean, to have shares in prisons instead of helping people not to go to prison by making them aware of their divine science. See, I'll be out here every single day, and motherfuckers, especially the opposition, you know, the so-called police, it's like they don't even understand how I'm able to do this shit. It's like they're literally waiting on you to commit a crime. They're literally waiting on you to break a law. You know what I mean? Because they're just so used to dealing with ignorance. They're so used to dealing with motherfuckers who's out of their minds, to people who don't know who they are. They're just so used to dealing with people like that. They don't even know how to deal with me. Like, I don't even have issues other than they may say you're trespassing. That's as far as it goes. Like, you probably shouldn't be here. You're trespassing. I'll be like, all right, whatever. Then get my ass up and I move along. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. Then they going about their business. But that's as close of an interaction that I would get. But other than that, it's just, you know what I mean? But I can feel the energy of, it's like you can see it in their faces. Because these motherfuckers don't like to even get out of their car. But I'm not gonna make this video about cops. We already know how they are. But for the motherfuckers who want to connect with the energies that's opposed to these overseers, because that's what they are, right? They're basically overseers of the public. Make sure that your ass stays in line. So we tap into the spirit so that we don't have to risk our freedom and our lives, because now we have spiritual defense. You know what I mean? Now We got motherfuckers walking around here who can't even be seen by cops when they tap into their spirituality. You can't even be seen by cops. You know what I mean? You're able to magnetize things to you directly from the source, versus that you're trying to accumulate more money. You know how to magnetize what you need to yourself directly. So you don't have to go out here and commit all this crime and get caught, because we in different times now. There's cameras everywhere. Everybody got a camera phone in their pocket. Every organization has cameras. It's really hard to do anything and not be seen unless you tap into the spirit. And the spirit helps you to ascend and transcend all of the limitations that we're faced with on a daily basis. This is why you work with these volatile spirits, because they honestly are just like you. It's the way you truly feel in your heart. It's the reality that you may be afraid to face because you know the truth. Again, this is for all my red pill poppers, not the blue pill poppers, the red pill. If you took the red pill, and again, this is just metaphors, I'm just using a common metaphor that we've all heard about. But if you taking that red pill and you embrace truth, regardless of where it leads, regardless of the sacrifice, regardless of how it makes you feel, the truth is the truth. Like, there's a difference between what's true and truth. It may be true that I stand in Las Vegas, but the truth is I am not my human vessel. I am beyond the human vessel. I am not my body. My body is my vehicle, but I am not my vehicle. My vehicle is my vehicle, but I don't identify myself as my vehicle. I utilize my vehicle to express the nature of spirit. But I myself, this body will one day dissolve back into carbon. But what remains when the body dissolves back into carbon is the soul. So when you hear people saying that they sold their soul, what they're truly talking about is, once this life is over, they are not in control of their fates, because their soul is now owned by something other than themselves. So this is why people are able to go to extreme lengths to live a certain type of lifestyle, because they're not thinking about what's going to happen after the fact. Because again, you got people who think when people die, your consciousness just dissolves. So they don't believe in heaven or hell and all this. They believe heaven and hell is on earth, which I agree. We can have a heavenly experience or a hellish experience depending on you knowing who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, which is a divine being by nature, whose birthright is to conquer this earth, to utilize the resources on this earth, to build yourself a home, to live in luxury, to have connections and friendships, to practice Islam, which is mathematics, increasing your mathematical proficiency and ability to do whatever it is that you want to do on this physical plane without limitation, without hesitation, and you just do whatever you need to do based on your soul to fulfill your soul's purpose. And in order to fulfill your soul's purpose, you must have resources. You must have energy. You must have connections. Islam, and I'm not talking about the religion of Islam, I'm talking about the purpose of Islam, which is freedom, justice, and equality. To free yourself, to be level in your thinking between the body and the mind, and to inflict justice when it's necessary. That's the part that kind of gets people, weird, right? They don't like that part. They don't like the justice part, right? They don't mind being free spirits. They don't mind being balanced with the mind, body, and the soul. But when it comes to being a spirit of justice, they kind of get shaky with that. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's just say there's people that broke in your home. We'll just use a modern example. People broke in your home with guns, ready to shoot and kill. Right? You're strapped as well. You got kids in the house. You may have a wife in the house or a husband in the house, whatever, right? You're not really thinking about the material things. Those can be replaced. You're thinking about the things that can't be replaced. You're thinking about your kids. You're thinking about your family. So, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the safety box. You're going to pull out your strap, and you're going to squeeze that trigger if you feel that you are being threatened or your family is being threatened. I don't think nobody disagrees with that, especially when you're they're coming at you aggressively. So you have to come back just as aggressive, or you will be taken advantage of. However, you got people who, let's just say, are not willing to kill. They're not willing to get their hands dirty. And we have a lot of people on the fence, trust me. We have a lot of people that's like that, who's not willing to put in that real work, whether on the physical plane or the spiritual plane. Because you can still put in that work on the spiritual plane as well. I don't talk about that too often, but I'll talk about it here. As to where you can take life, you can do death rituals. You can do all these things without lifting a finger and get the job done. You know, put it into the hands of the spirits and make the proper offerings. And they'll do that job for you. But a lot of people feel like that builds up karma, or they feel like it shouldn't be them who's putting in that type of work. When in actuality, you were always the chosen one, whether you like it or not. For example, let me take it a step further, because this goes into drugs, right? Meaning you have a lot of crackheads. I'm just using that term because that's just, everybody can identify with what I'm saying. You know, so I'm not saying this term in disrespect. I'm just saying it because we all know who I'm talking about, right? We're just using a popular term. We have crackheads, right? People who engage in crystallized cocaine, right? If we go back in the day where cocaine was socially acceptable, maybe like the 70s, right? So let's take it back to the 70s, just for a second, right? And again, before y'all start asking questions that don't have anything to do with what I'm saying, let me at least finish my point, because it's gonna throw me off. And I wanna make this as clear as possible. So before y'all start asking questions that don't have nothing to do with what I'm saying, let me finish the point, then we got plenty of time to answer questions after the fact. Because I don't wanna veer off and I don't even say what I need to say. So let me just hold the questions that don't have anything to do with what I'm saying till after I finish the point, and we can speak about that, you know, for however long y'all need to speak about it. But let me continue. So when it comes to putting in that real work and performing justice, see, a lot of us we not built like that because we were raised differently. But let me talk about what I was about to say about cocaine. When cocaine was socially acceptable back in the 70s, where you can pull out a line of cocaine and snort it in front of everybody, and nobody glitches. Nobody sees anything wrong with this. So there were times, just like prostitution was legal at one time, regardless of how anybody feels about it. Just like slavery was legal at one time, regardless of how anybody feels about it. This is why we can't be in our feelings, because everything that we feel is wrong, it was a time on the planet where this shit was legal. There was a time on the planet where you can kill a motherfucker and not go to jail. That time really did exist. Because especially when a person was killed outside of a kingdom. So for example, you had kingdoms, then you had everything else. The kingdom had security. The kingdom had the merchants. The kingdom had where people slept. The kingdom had the king and the queen and the royalty. But outside of those kingdom walls, you're on your own. So if you die out there in the wild, nobody's trying to figure out why you died, because it's outside of the kingdom. So it's nobody else's business. So those times actually existed. Whereas we see now that all the land is owned by somebody. So if anybody gets killed, then they're gonna have an investigation. There were times where there was no investigation. They find dead bodies and they just bury them. They don't give a fuck about who this person was or what the circumstances was behind their death. Is really none of their fucking business, right? They just see the wound. Oh, this person got stabbed in the neck with a sword. This person got their head cut off. This person bled to death from internal wounds. They're dead now. Well, let's at least bury them. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it was. So back in the days where cocaine was socially acceptable, you had people that were more in tune with this energy that I'm speaking about now, right? Because cocaine is like the Mars energy. It's like the Mars energy, again, which is this volatile, super sexual force. That's why cocaine also has this association with sex, right? They say when you combine sex with cocaine, you know, you're going to shoot to Wonderland, right? We've all heard all this stuff before, or at least you should have heard it. And if you haven't heard it, now you're hearing it now, right? So this is why cocaine and sex goes together. Cocaine and murder goes together. Just think about Pablo Escobar back in the 70s. Cocaine and sex goes together. Cocaine and murder goes together. Cocaine and violence goes together. Because when you tap into that coca leaf, it's summoning energies within you that have been suppressed and oppressed, that are trying to find expression in a very, very straight directed method, which will be sex, which can be death, which can be murder, which can be violence. You didn't really have a lot of people who just engaged in cocaine and who just wanted to sit somewhere and meditate, because that's not the nature of the drug. It's just like today's times, right? Now let's bring it up to today's times. Everybody's embracing the pills, right? The Mollies, the ecstasy pills, right? The Percocets, so on and so forth. They're dealing with the white girl, right? They're dealing with that crystal. They're dealing with the powder. And these are not the type of drugs that you just want to sit around and meditate. That's like weed. You want to sit around and meditate, you smoke some weed. But if you're trying to get energy, if you're trying to activate your solar plexus, that's why people do pills. That's why you have uppers, then you have downers. A downer would be like marijuana, would be like alcohol. The uppers would be like cocaine, would be like Molly, which is basically MDMA, ecstasy, so on and so forth, right? So, also, you know, you got heroin. You know, that's like I don't even know if that's an upper or not, but I'm pretty sure it's an upper. Because, you know, you sticking needles and shit in you. Let us continue. So that's why the 70s was the way it was. For those who don't even know what I'm talking about, allow me to inform you. We can take it to the pimp and the hoe culture, or the prostitution culture. Pimping and hoeing had a super great time in the 70s. That's where, when we think about pimping and hoeing, the peak, you can say the peak was in the 70s. So everything that we know about it, it was established in the 70s. Of course, it was going on before then, but it was really in a chaotic state. But when we can say like, yo, that's pimping and that's hoeing, when you can say that for a fact, the apex was in the 70s. Also, everybody who was into spirituality and revolution, this is the 70s. Why? Because in the 60s, you had things going on like the civil rights movement. You had things going on like the free love movement, you know, with things like the Beatles, you know, and Jimi Hendrix and the Doors, Janis Joplin, so on and so forth, right? So you had all these musicians who was all about stop the war, stop the Vietnam War, or whatever war was at that time, stop the war, stop the killing, you know, stop the destruction. It's all in their music, right? So once Martin Luther King Jr. was executed, as well as Malcolm X, then when the 70s came in, because Martin Luther King died in '69. So when the 70s came in, everybody was just like, fuck that. Fuck civil rights, fuck turning the cheek. We going to war. We're all about revolution. Now you got the birth of the Black Panthers, the Black Liberation, right? So on and so forth. There's just too many organizations to name. But this is how they came about. Because the pain that people felt, you know, for the execution of their leaders, they're like, yo, we not going to be able to win with that method because they just got off. Now we about to tap into the revolutionary spirit. So that's why the 70s has this special type of energy versus all these other times in history. Because that's when the pain has sunk so deep. Because people was all for it. All right, we about to do this nonviolence movement. Everybody was, not everybody, but it was a lot of people that was all for it. So when the leader gets killed, it either breaks people's spirits or it takes you to a space of revolution. So a lot of people went into that space of revolution. They're like, no, fuck that nonviolence. Now we're about to carry guns, like the Black Panthers, right? And I'm not talking about the fucking movie. Now we're carrying guns. Now we dare a cop to run up on any of us. We will blast your fucking head off. That's why guns were made illegal in terms of you carrying it out in the open. That was because of the Black Panthers. Because, you know, like, yo, anybody run up, you getting your head blown off. And we're not afraid to do it. Because now we're dealing with more volatile spirits. So the same spirits that was around in the slavery times, the Haitian Revolution versus American slavery, whatever, or any other slavery, because slavery has been going on all around the world, so we don't have to place emphasis on a particular time. But now those energies started to arise. The Kundalini started to awaken. That fire started to get a new life and burn within the hearts of the people. And therefore, now they're working with the petrol, right? Or the petrol, however you want to say it, right? Now we're working with this fire element. Now we're taking off heads. Now we into our war spirits. Now we don't give a fuck about what's, you know, who's listening, who's gonna feel pain. We no longer are in our emotions. We about to equip ourselves to go to war. That's the type of spirits that we're talking about here today, the zombie spirits. And that's why I spelled it Z-O-M-B-I, not Z-O-M-B-I-E. It's a difference. Z-O-M-B-I versus Z-O-M-B-I-E. So we're not talking about a brainless, fiendish type of person. We're talking about a person that's full of revolutionary spirit. So this is why I brought up the crackheads. Because a lot of people, when they think about crackheads, they think about people who are lost souls. But, and even, I can even say at a certain point in my life, that's how I viewed them too, because I wasn't up close. Meaning you will always see these people either driving past, walking past. You would just kind of see them, you know what I mean, doing whatever the fuck it is that they do. but you really wasn't studying them up close. But because I've been out here in the wild west, right? I've been out here in the wild. So I've been seeing everything up close versus something that you just see in passing. So I've been seeing everything up close. And what I have discovered is these people that we consider crackheads or drug addicts or people who just can't get their shit together, right? Just, you know, the throwaways, the outcast, right? The homeless people, the wanderers. You know, all of these people who don't have jobs, who don't care about fucking having jobs. You know, all these people that we consider, you know, to be no good for society. All right? However we want to identify with that energy. But the truth of the matter is, give me 1 second. Let the people pass. These people are really the walking dead, but not in the way that we're thinking about. So when I say these people are the walking dead, I'm not talking about brainless, fiendish type people. I'm talking about ancient energy, like the Cthulhu spirit from the Necronomicon, for those who are even familiar with that pantheon. For those who are not, allow me to explain. This is a return of the revolutionary spirit. And, hold on, so it's a lot of energy. Hold on. Obviously, this is like a little hot spot, obviously, right? Let us continue, though. They are the modern day manifestations of the revolutionary spirit without a filter. What do I mean? See, everybody else has a filter because they have to coexist in other worlds. Hold on, let me show you all this. See the plane? So you see how the plane, it lands right there. Now it's on its feet. See, that's so there we go. See, this flat land is for the plane. So I just gave y'all an example. So you see they fly over this little land and they land right over there. Anyway, just wanted to show y'all that. That's why so much noise. So these crackheads or these drug fiends are the modern day examples of the revolutionary spirit without a filter. See, everybody else has to have a filter because they have to coexist in other worlds. Meaning you still got to get up and go to work. You still got to deal with your family. You still have to pretty much put on these multiple masks every day to deal with people. Versus the drug addict who doesn't have to do any of that. The drug addict is just pure raw. So they can walk around, I'm pretty sure we've all seen them, they walk around cussing, screaming, fighting, yelling. It's as if they're being tormented by fire. Is it not true? Just think about it. Go back in your memory banks. Does it not seem like these people are being tormented by flames? But we wasn't thinking too deep into it. It's like they're being tormented. Why? Because that cocaine is dealing with these flame spirits. These flame or these fiery spirits. These pletro, whatever you want to call it, are fire. So it sets their souls on fire when they engage in the drug. And that's how they become addicted. They become addicted to the flames. It's not even the drug itself, it's the spiritual energy behind it. It's the flames of revolution that they have become addicted to. Also, let me take it a step further. If you research the spirits called the barons, you can just type that in Google, B-A-R-O-N-S, right? The barons, these are like the spirits, like Baron Somni. Most people are familiar with him. He's like the most popular. Baron Somni. You know, he looks like the modern day pimp. He's like, he helps spirits, you know, go into the afterlife. Spirits that have died, he helps usher them into the afterlife. But he has a very vulgar way of speaking. He likes to cuss a lot. He likes to use a lot of sexual innuendos in his speech. This is the same way these so-called drug addicts communicate. Is it not true? Are they not volatile? Are they not constantly cuss words that's flying out of their mouth left and right? Are they not always talking about some type of sexual innuendo? Or maybe y'all are not that familiar because y'all haven't been that close, but those who have been close, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These motherfuckers is fucking and sucking because they don't have a sense of moralism. However, most people look at that as something crazy, something negative, something sinister, but this is all spiritual. This is how we all would be in a natural environment. The only reason we're not like this is because we had to navigate through all these multi-universes, right? These multiple realms. So we have to stay balanced and we have to stay centered because we're navigating through all type of dimensions. But for those who are not thinking about that, who can literally exist on a base chakra level, whose only mission is to get more of that drug, to set their souls on fire and to purify their souls. So they are indeed going through a process of purification where they are representing this ancient energy that's violent, that don't give a fuck, that has transcended moralism. They just represent that energy in its most pure, raw form, right? So they represent that ancient energy that's now on the planet again, this revolutionary spirit, this rebellious spirit. So that's why they have the nature they have, especially for people who have been, you know, to Los Angeles, right? What's up, Afro Pick? I see you. You just came in this motherfucker. So they represent that energy, right? And we've all seen this. So I'm not saying nothing that nobody else hasn't seen unless you just never been to the hood. But even if you haven't, there's still drug addicts in the suburban areas. So we all see this, right? It is as if they live in their own universe. You don't really see too many cops getting in their ass. They just leave them alone. Is it not true? Cops don't even want to bother these motherfuckers. They just leave them alone. Or like, unless they're like breaking into something, or you know what I mean? But if they're not, cops like, yo, we don't want nothing to do with that. And people, we don't want nothing to do with them. Everybody just kind of gives them their space. This is power. This isn't because people feel bad about them. Oh, they're dirty, you know, it really don't go down like that. It's power. That is power. We don't like, yo, the police is like, leave them alone. The people don't want nothing to do with them because their souls is on fire. They are in hyper speed. They are in a hyper dimension. They are operating on a level of mathematics that most people cannot understand. Because again, see, everybody else is looking at these people. Oh, these people is digging through the trash. They're eating out the trash. They're recycling all these bottles and all that. They're pretty much willing to do everything that you're not, essentially. Exactly. They don't sleep. They got unlimited energy. They'll walk up. Hold on. They'll suck you off for a pack of cigarettes. Oh, sorry about that. Hold on. Put the headphones back in. All right. They'll suck you off for a pack of cigarettes if they want it, if they fiending that much. Or a cheeseburger. So, it all depends on what they want. That's what I'm talking about. So it's not necessarily, you can say they're not necessarily active prostitutes or active pimps, but they will put in that work if they need to. That's the difference. So they're like, yo, if they feeding enough, they'll do what's necessary to get what they really need. So they are literally, and these people don't really deal with money either. These people really don't deal with money. Like, the only money they really have is money that they may get from the government or they may get from other people. So they really don't deal with money. They're dealing with direct manifestation. They still get everything they need. They still getting high every single day and every single night. They still get everything they need. They just may be living on the streets. But they're not thinking like we think, right? For example, the average person will never want to sleep on the sidewalk because, like, yo, why the fuck would I sleep on the sidewalk? Even if I'm homeless, I'm gonna at least go to the bus stop, or I'm gonna at least, you know, find somewhere that's more secluded so that everybody can't see me, you know what I mean? So the average person is thinking like this. The crackhead, again, just not giving a fuck about what people feel, what people think, people's emotions, who just does not care, looks at that sidewalk and like, yo, I'm about to get some rest. Fuck it, they'll lay right in front of you. Have motherfuckers having to walk in the street to get past them. They don't care. So for them, they literally just walking around this earth doing whatever the fuck they want. They are truly free. Let me show y'all another plane. See the plane? Hold on. Anyway, so these people are literally living a life truly free, while the way we may view it from the outside looking in, they're living in hell. But in reality, they're actually in heaven, because they don't have to do anything if they don't want to do it. They're able to get whatever they need. They're able to live whatever type of lifestyle they want to live. Now, of course, there are different degrees, because then you have, let's take it to the next degree, because I started on the street level, but now you have functioning drug addicts. Let's take it to the next level. You have people who, like, all right, they 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They may sniff a little coke. They may poke a little needle or whatever, but they still get their ass up and go to work every day. They still take care of their family. They still, you know, keep their bills paid and all that. So this is the functional drug addict. So this is like they're half hot, half cold, right? They're like, they're in the in-between state, half hot, half cold. So they're hot enough to know that I need this drug, because this gives me an amazing feeling that I just can't get from anywhere else. But they're like, yo, I can't allow that feeling to overwhelm me to the point where I got my family on the streets. So they can balance the two worlds. I don't know how loud that is for y'all, but obviously, you know, we in the active zone right here. Like, isn't it just not the perfect place to do a video where the shit is going down? But yeah, this is basically Vegas. See, Vegas is activity. It's activity, 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 activity. Outside of the street, you know, it's just activity, activity, activity. I think it may only be like 2 million people here. There ain't even that many people here, but it's super active, because it's so, like, if you add up the tourists with the people, then, you know, like, that's what I like about Vegas. I know, I'm not going off topic. I'm just still speaking about the city. It's like I can literally go to like the New York hotel and just sit and chill and just like let people walk past, and I literally can see people from all around the world. You know? I can literally post up in the New York, post up, and like within an hour, I didn't see people from all around the world. I didn't see the Japanese, the Chinese, the Korean, the Vietnamese, you know what I mean, the Italian, the European. So you see, like, these planes is coming in like every 2 minutes type shit. Like, it ain't even been 5 minutes since I just showed y'all the other plane. So they coming in. You see motherfuckers just flying in from all around this fucking planet. Coming to good old Vegas. Anyway, let us continue. So where was I? I was talking about the functioning drug addict, right? The functioning drug addict who's half hot, half cold. Then we got on the top of the scale, you got everybody else who was just dealing with those other deities, those colder energies, right? That's everybody else. Well, maybe I should flip it around. You got the people dealing with the colder entities that's at the base of the pyramid. You got people that's at the middle of the pyramid that's half hot, half cold. And you got people who is at the apex, who's dealing with the fire. Why? Because fire rises up. Fire doesn't descend. Water descends. Fire raises up. So of course they will be at the apex because they're constantly rising up. They're constantly transcending and ascending the energy. So that was like maybe every 1 minute, right? It's like, you see this, you know what I mean? You think Vegas never sleeps. You know, Vegas never sleeps, but, and then what is today? Hold on. Today is a fucking Wednesday. It's a regular day. It ain't even a weekend. It ain't Friday, Saturday. Like, it's a fucking Wednesday. People coming into this bitch, you know, looking for the holes. Let's just be real, right? Cause ain't nobody else gonna tell you. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers is coming here for the pussy. Because this is the home of the pussy. That's the West Coast. Not just Vegas, not just California, just the whole West Coast. The whole West Coast was built off of pussy. Pussy power, prostitution. Is, you know what I mean? Like California definitely has more hole strolls or more blades or more tracks for those who even understand the lingo than any other state in America. Yeah, definitely holds up. You know what I mean? They definitely, you know, they keep Vegas going, in other words. So you see the people have a love-hate relationship because at the same time, people are coming here making sure that the energy continue to exist because they love this ancient energy that's on the planet. They love it. So they may talk shit about it, right? They may talk shit about it. But you see his people here flying in every single day, every single night to engage in some pussy, to engage in some drugs or some cocaine and some herb. So let's just be real. Let's just be honest about where's all this money going to? Vegas doesn't produce anything. It's a fucking desert, right? Vegas doesn't produce like any natural resources. Vegas is a fucking desert. It's a barren land. Here we go. What do you think that's keeping the economy going? The underworld, right? Sorry to say it. I know it hurts some people, it hurts your soul, but I know those who understand. Those who understand. Like, this is real life. They love this ancient energy. They love those fire spirits. They love these motherfucking prostitutes that's willing to do everything on the low and for the low. You don't think they getting into, you think they really thinking about, oh, this woman just fucked 40 other people before they met me. You think they really give a fuck about that? Prostitution would have died off eons ago if people actually cared about the things that we think people care about. They really don't. Let's just be real, right? If motherfuckers was thinking like that, it wouldn't be an economy. There would be no Vegas. But people come here to transcend their logic. This is an adult playground. So people come here to leave all that shit at home and to engage in some trickery. Literally some trickery. They paying for it, You know what I mean? They ain't getting it for free. You gotta be a special motherfucker. You gotta be a special motherfucker to get it for free. You can do it, but you gotta be in tune with spirit because this is a spiritual revolution going on. They are using the energy of sex. They are using the energy of drugs to channel in this ancient energy that everybody wants to be against. When it's really for us, it's not against us. We're not on the other side of it. This is ancient energy coming back, controlling these motherfuckers. All these so-called devils, all these so-called bad people, what do they have a weakness for? Pussy and drugs. Is it not the case? They have that. So it don't matter how wicked a person is, they're going to always have to come back to some woman, or they're going to have to come back to the drugs. So they're going to have to feed the underworld. That's just a reality of it. They got to feed those rebellious, revolutionary spirits, because they're trying to have a spiritual experience. That's why they're doing it. That's why, so they finding themselves a prostitute. If they find the right prostitute, the prostitute gonna have the coke already, right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Exactly. You don't even supposed to speak about this type of shit. You didn't, but I can speak about it because I'm actually living this shit, right? Everybody else wants to be like on some secret agent shit, because that they have to maintain a reputation. See, I don't have to maintain a reputation, but that's, you have that honor when you really are in the field like that. You can speak about what actually happens around you. I can literally just speak about what I'm seeing because it's everywhere. But I have learned to accept it. I have learned to embrace it. I've learned like, this is not against us. This is actually in our favor. This isn't something wrong. This is something right. That's why I have my views on the underworld, right? This shit never stops, right? You really think people coming just to engage in business? Okay, keep thinking that. What type of business though? That shit only lasts like 2 hours. They come here for a little 2-hour meeting, but they here for maybe 2-3 days. What do you think they're doing those other 2 days? All right. 120 is a normal here for Phoenix. Like I said, the West Coast is all about that fire. The West Coast is all about that fire. That's why those spirits and those energies rule the West Coast. That's why the West Coast has this outlawish type of energy. That's why it's also the home of the game bangers and all that, right? Especially the game bangers from Mexico. The Mexican energy is heavy here as well. And there's a connection with the Mexican energy as well. So I don't want to leave them out. Because you'll probably hear more Spanish than English. You take your ass to California, you're probably gonna hear more Spanish than English. You don't even need to know English to live in America, especially on the West Coast. You don't even need to know English. You know Spanish, you will be good out here. But that's just, that's just the way America is. Again, I'm not against it. I'm all for it. I'm all for people being bilingual. I'm all for people mastering multiple languages so that you can connect to different frequencies and you can connect to different cultures and have a different perspective in life than everybody else who are afraid of other people. There's still people out here afraid of other people. There's still people out here who never leave their hood. There's still people out here living like cave beasts. But they don't have to. They choose to, right? Again, like, I feel like I'm the only one that's doing this. I'm the only one, again, so I'm on the East Coast now. Y'all see me on the West Coast. Y'all see me in the North, y'all see me. Y'all see me all over the fucking place. I don't just stay in one place. But most people stay in one place. Most people stay in one neighborhood because they know everything. They know who the drug dealer is. They know how to, how to finagle and finesse in their particular place. And I'm all for it. Because those are the people that I'll be watching anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I literally had, people in LA hood's never been to the beach. It's because, you know what I mean? It's like it's like a field of energy that they can't break, or a vortex. We call it a vortex. It's like they are trapped within a vortex, because they feel like I have to protect my hood or my neighborhood, so I'm going to be here as a protector. How the fuck can I protect my hood at the goddamn beach? I'm making myself vulnerable and I'm making the hood vulnerable. That's their mentality. So as I said, I respect it, because you need that. You need protection. You need somebody who doesn't travel, who's willing to stay put and protect, you know, the valuables, the resources, the women, the children, so on and so forth, right? So they all serve a purpose. They all serve a purpose. That's why, again, it's like, this is why you can't judge. This is why it says don't judge. He who is without sin cast the first stone, right? And we are some sinning motherfuckers, because you literally can't exist on the earth plane without sinning. It's like you just can't, because like you have to navigate through these worlds. You know, that's why religion is a trick, because you can't even be here without sinning. It's a part of life. It's a part of life. One day you may have to kill. One day your ass is gonna be high when you know you ain't supposed to be doing drugs. One day you gonna fuck somebody you just met. All right? One day you're gonna spend your money on some shit you shouldn't have spent your money on. It just, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But we tend to beat ourselves up over that shit. And that's why we live in hell. Right? That's why we live in hell, because we beat ourselves up when we should be embracing it. You know what I mean? You smoke your weed in peace. Pop your pills in peace. Fuck your hoes in peace. I think y'all get the point. Yeah, that's why I chose this area. Just letting y'all know, motherfucker, it will never stop. It will never stop. I can be here all day. I'm gonna see planes coming in all day. Planes is gonna be coming in all night, and people going to be engaging in this Vegas life forever. Forever. The oasis within the desert, right? That's why Vegas had to be built in a desert, because this type of shit will not be allowed to happen in any other place. That's why Vegas has a special energy. And again, every city has a special energy. You just have to figure out what it is. So I'm just revealing LA. I revealed LA, I revealed New York, I'm revealing Vegas, I revealed DC, I revealed Atlanta. Like all the places I've been. And it is, I'm gonna do the same thing. Wherever I go, I can detect the spirit, because it's in the people. All you gotta do is study the people, and you will see what the deal is. So, I think the point has been made, right? I think the point has been made, you know what I mean? We're gonna continue to talk about the underworld. We're gonna continue to talk about sexuality. We're gonna continue to talk about these hoes. We're gonna continue to spit the pimping. We're gonna continue to embrace these drugs, whether we speaking about it, whether we engaging in it, whether we looking at the spirituality in it, or why you shouldn't do it. Because it's all based on your particular path. Again, some people will not ever work with demons. Some people prefer demons because they're a lot more faster. It all depends on you and what you're willing to give and the type of energy you're willing to put out in order to get the things that you desire in life. You know what I mean? Whether if you are a very, very patient person and don't mind the wait, then there's a path for you. If you're a person who likes to create miracles, one day you fucked up and the next day you on top, but you have to make sure that you stay on top or you will be right back on your ass just as quick. Then you know. So yeah, at this point, if y'all want to ask questions, y'all can ask questions. I pretty much revealed the information. Y'all let me know. So I'll give y'all a little time to answer questions. So now I'll be answering questions just a second. Cause you know I'm always checking out the scenery. And that's definitely one thing about the West Coast. The distractions is crazy. Yeah, what's up, Ian? Yeah, what's up, Ian? Shout out to the big homie. You already know. Like I said, you know, like the people, everybody who has gotten a natal chart reading from me, y'all already know. Y'all already know. Motherfucker, the conversation is no less than 6 hours. It's like no less than 6 hours. That should take 2 conversations on 2 separate days. And they both is like 6 hours. Like they already know. Y'all already know. That's why I encourage people, you know. I encourage people to get my services done if you want something that's thorough. If you want something done thoroughly, then get at me. If you want something that's just done in general, then get it from somebody else. But if you don't mind being on the phone for 6 hours talking about your natal chart, talking about your life purpose, then you know. But that's why, you know, I got to charge though. You know what I mean? I ain't about to be, not gonna be on 6 hours. You definitely paying up. But that's for the people who want that in-depth knowledge and that in-depth information that you're just not going to get nowhere else. So I definitely, because everybody who's got a natal chart from me, you already know. I don't even have to say it. You know what I mean? It's already I show and prove it. So you already know. All right, so let me get at these questions. Yeah, definitely, it would definitely be cool to have a plane company. I agree with that. I agree with that. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely at some point, you know, I can see that. I can see that, you know what I mean? Definitely taking people all around the world and teaching them spirituality. So let's just say maybe like a 3-month trip. In 3 months, you'll be able to see the whole world in 3 months. And just get to experience the world in 90 days. 90 days, you get to experience the whole world. Who wouldn't want to do that? Especially from a spiritual perspective, for somebody who's in the know. So that's just my thought. So definitely having a plane company is dope. All right. Yeah, so let me sit down. So yeah, if you asked a question previously and I didn't touch it, yeah, definitely ask it again. You know, because I wanted to make sure I got the message out clearly before I started, you know, veering off. So if you asked a question previously and I didn't touch it, then just ask it again. So we'll get into these questions. Let me see. What does it mean to work with demons or Lucifer ceremonial magic? Again, you just work with more volatile spirits. Spirits that like to do things quick and swiftly versus spirits that like to take their time and sit on their ass. That's all it is. So if you want a spirit, you want instant results, you want some shit instant, you want some shit quick, you gotta go to those demons. Why? Because the demons are like fiends. The demons are like drug fiends. They need their shit right now. They need it now. So that's why they work so quick. They fiending for that energy. They need that energy and they need it right now. What is that? I want my money and I need my money right now. Whatever that is, like a commercial that says that shit, right? So that's the shit that they own. They want their shit right now. They fiending for that energy. So if you're gonna give them that energy, then they gonna get that shit done. You know what I mean? So that's the difference between working with demons and the turn of Lucifer, which is just a light bearer. It's just like working with snake spirits or snake energies. I did a video on snake spirits a couple videos back. So watch my video on snake spirits if you really want to know more about Lucifer and how it would be working with that type of energy, that serpentine energy. You know, so definitely check out my video called Snake Spirits. Let's see. How do you feel about lean and what it's doing to the younger generation? I got a revelation about that, actually. So I'll tell you, I didn't really plan on speaking about it here, but I will speak about it. Because it's not just a lean, they call it opiates now. They call it opiates, right? It's an opiate. epidemic, right? You know, people popping Percocets and all that, these opiates. But what deity rules over opiates or the opium? It's called, I believe it's called the opium poppy plant. It's the opium poppy plant. What deity rules over the opium poppy plant? Well, what do you know? Morpheus. Morpheus, which is a god of dreams. And what does that lean do? That lean have you leaning and dreaming, as they call it, codeine dreaming, right? Check out that song, Codeine Dreaming. So codeine, or that lean, is a tool for the deity of Morpheus to communicate with people via their dreams, because a lot of people don't dream. So when you start sipping on that lean, your dreams become way more vivid and you can download information. That's why the youth are so connected to that drug, because you're connected with the deity Morpheus, the god of dreams, and it's a whole spiritual experience. See? See, when you do your research, when you are a true studier of information, and when you truly live this life, you come into contact with information like this, so you can make sense out of the destruction and the chaos. So they want everybody else to think, oh, the kids are just on drugs and they don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Kids nowadays are more spiritual or more connected to spirit. That's why they're drawn to certain drugs versus other drugs. That's why you don't really have a lot of kids on cocaine. They would prefer to do lean. They would prefer to pop pills. There's a reason for that. So they connected with that same energy, but their methods are a bit different. All right? So they may not be sticking needles in their arms or sniffing shit up their nose, but they popping those pills. They sipping on that lean. They smoking that weed. Because that's what they choose to do, because they are connecting with deities and ancient spirits and ancient energies, opening up vortexes, you know, to manifest whatever it is that they want. For some people it's women, for other people it's men, for other people it's wealth, for other people it's fame. So you gotta look at it from a project to project basis. It all depends on what that person wants. So you can manifest your reality utilizing lean, if you are that type of magician to do things like that. So there are a particular type of magicians who embrace that lifestyle. Just like it's a particular type of magicians who smoke, a particular type of magician who drinks, a particular type of magician who types into ceremonial magic, which is just tapping into the elements, the elemental spirits, the fairies, the gnomes, the salamanders, the snakes or the serpents, and the mermaids, so on and so forth. So that's what ceremonial magic is. It's like you're bringing in all of the elements together with your magical workings. So, would I be down to record the interaction? Are you talking about if I was to do a natal reading or something like that? I mean, yeah. If you want a copy of it, you know. So if you want to record it just for your own sake. So if you ever want to listen to it again, I don't mind that. You can even put that shit out. I'll put it out on my channel. Yeah, here's an example of a fucking natal chart reading. The whole goddamn 6 hours. But I don't think people ready for that. But I don't mind, sure. You know what I mean? I don't, because again, it's authentic. I'm not saying nothing that I don't already say in public. You know what I mean? So it ain't like it's any information being exchanged that I don't want other people knowing about. Like, it is what it is. So yeah, you know what I mean? Record that shit. And utilize the information that's being presented. All right. Why do we care about what other people think? It's because we have been trained to do so. We cared about what our mothers thought of us. We cared about what our fathers thought of us. We cared about what our sisters and our brothers thought about us. We cared about what our extended family thought about us. We cared about what our teachers thought about. We cared about what our friends at school thought about. We cared about what our friends at home thought about. We cared about what our co-workers think about. We care about what our bosses or our supervisors or our managers think about us. That's like we have came up in a world where we just give a fuck about what other people think. But as we see, that can be transcended. depending on what path you want to take. So yeah, that is a programming, and that programming can be overridden if you put in that work. You can overwrite that program to the point where you don't care about what the fuck other people, because I see it every day, trust me. I'm seeing women out here walking around with no fucking bra on. They just put a shirt on with the titties is just jumping all over the place. You clearly have no bra. You can see the nipple print, and they can care less. They know that it's drawing attention. They know that people is looking. They know that it's making dudes dick hard. They know this, and they can care less. They just thinking about, shit, if I walk around with like this long enough, somebody's gonna give me some drugs. All right? Somebody's gonna like what they see, and they're gonna want a piece. And they're gonna ask in return, like, yo, you know what I mean? Man, I need some crack, or I need some heroin, or I need this, I need that. You can have what you want. If you want to touch, you want to feel, you want to suck, we can go behind the building. You can get yours in, but I'm gonna get mine too. So you can transcend that energy if you want to. And I know these conversations be so fucking raw. So, you know, I be feeling bad for the listeners sometimes. I'm like, man, I can only imagine listening to this stuff, but not understanding it. Those who understand can understand, but I know there's people who don't even understand like that. This is the raw shit ever, but, you know, welcome to the West Coast. Welcome to the West Coast. Let me see. I keep telling y'all, right? It's like every 2 to 3 minutes you hearing the plane coming, right? You know what I mean? Pussy power. Power of that pussy keep motherfuckers coming in like clockwork. Clockwork, right? Shout out to Vegas. All right, let's continue. Make sure the battery is good. All right, I got like 25%. So yeah, I can get through these questions real quick. All right. What are your thoughts on abortion as it pertains to incarnation, death, and spirituality? I mean, you literally have deities that kill kids. Have anybody heard of Lilith? I talked about Lilith, I believe, last video, but yeah. You can petition deities to cause yourself to have an abortion, or as a man cause a woman to have an abortion. That's possible. You got deities that dedicated to that, like, yo, I kill babies, I eat their ass alive. So I don't feel any type of way about abortion, because you literally can petition spirits to make that shit happen. There's herbs and plants that can trigger a miscarriage for those who don't want to have kids. So it is what it is. So just like there's deities that help you have kids, that help you get pregnant, that help you become more fertile. So you know what I mean? It just all depends on what side of the spectrum you choose to exist on. So I don't feel no type of way. If a motherfucker get pregnant and they wasn't trying to get pregnant, they want to petition a deity to kill that kid off because they wasn't trying to have a kid. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. I don't get my emotions involved in it. It is what it is. But when it comes to incarnation and death and rebirth, I tend to think that the spirit of a child comes into the body when they're born. And before then, they're just like having electric reactions. But that's just me. To each his own. All right. Can you be deep in the occult like you and still be a multi-millionaire, billionaire, or would money and wealth not be as necessary because of your spiritual advancement? Yeah. Most people who have money are into the occult. It's like you can't even build wealth without having knowledge of the occult in some form or fashion. You may not be a person that's working with spirits or deities and lighting candles. You may not be that particular type of magician, but there's various forms of being a magician. So yes, if you had to be some type of magician in some form of fashion to even have wealth. So yes, you will have to be into the occult in some form or fashion. It may not be the way I'm into it. It may not be in a way like a Aleister Crowley was in it. It may not be in a way where L. Ron Hubbard would be in it. You know, and I can just continue to name people. It may not be, you may not be deep into the occult in that way. You may not be deep into the occult like people in Hollywood are into the occult. And that's why I named Aleister Crowley and L. Ron Hubbard, because their philosophy penetrates Hollywood, for those who know that history. Hollywood is like the children of Aleister Crowley. So if you knew how he got down, then you know how they get down, because he is like their godfather. It's through his information that Hollywood was built off of, for those who don't know the history of Hollywood, you know. So, to each his own. So yes, you have to be involved in the occult in some form or fashion. You have to have mastery over some form of magic. You got to have mastery over some form of magic. It may not be the magic I do or they do, but it has to be some form of magic. That's how you generate wealth, because it's coming off of your own energy. So you have to creatively express your own energy in some form or fashion. You know, so yeah. So yeah, you can have all the money you want, or you can be a person that's manifesting directly from thought. To each his own. Again, I'm not here to tell nobody what to do or what not to do. It all depends on what feels right to you. We all exist in this realm, but we are all in our own universes as well. So when you are the creator of your universe, it is your choice. It is up to you as to what resources you choose to use. You use whatever resources that you choose to use, because it's your universe. So, all right. You once did acid and lean at the same time. Don't recommend anyone trying it unless you're truly ready, but it was a good time. Yeah, you know what I mean? Drugs are not as bad as people make them seem if you are prepared. So you're right, you know what I mean? Somebody else can completely trip out while you enjoy the roller coaster ride. It all depends on the person. For people who don't like roller coasters, they're going to hate it. For people who enjoy the thrill, they're going to love it. So it all depends on the person. All right? All right. Let's see where we at with it. Where can you find information about the Dayat or the dot? I mean, any book on the Kabbalah teaches you about Thoth. So read the book called the Kabbalah Unveiled if you want to know about Thoth. Well, I'm saying Thoth. Which Thoth is knowledge, or D-A-A-T-H. All right. So it represents knowledge. So read any book on the Kabbalah, and specifically the Kabbalah Unveiled if you want to know about Thoth. I don't know, Thoth or thought. I don't know, whatever. Y'all know what I'm saying. D-A-A-T-H. Read the Kabbalah Unveiled. It'll teach you all about the mysteries of the underworld, or the Dark Vader. You know what I mean? Or watch Star Wars. Watch Star Wars and pay close attention to Anakin and Dark Vader. That teaches you the whole underworld. Pay special attention to Anakin and Dark Vader, and how he moved, and how he went into the dark side, and how he was transitioned out of the dark side when he died. So definitely, so it all depends on whichever. Use these movies as a study tool for those who are involved in movies, who teach about the occult. All these science fiction movies are like ancient history revamped, or spiritual principles revamped in real time. All right. Oh yeah, there it is. It's my money and I want it now. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, you know what I mean? Work with those fire spirits. It's your money. You know it's your money and you want it right now. Work with those fire spirits. They will get you your money right now. Real shit. All right. What is working with spirits or deities such as horrors and making pacts? What is working with spirits or deities such as horrors and making pacts? So I'm trying to rephrase your question in a way that I understand it. So I'm guessing what you're getting at is, how do you do it, or what is it, or what is the philosophy of it, and the techniques behind it? I guess that's what you're trying to get at, so I'll just answer from that perspective. If we want to talk about the philosophy of working with spirits or elemental forces, or, you know, spirits or energies or chemicals within the air, the ether, the philosophy is that thought creates matter and sound creates thought. So sound literally creates matter. So this is you, when you are working with spirits or when you are working with deities, you are working with sound vibrations. And this sound vibration has a particular signature, meaning what it can and can't do. So depending on this energy signature or its spirit signature, what it can and can't do, you can give this deity or this energy or this sound a form using a sigil. The sigil becomes the body of the deity. So when you light your candles and when you chant your mantras and when you make those offerings, what you're really doing is just like you're giving life to an inanimate. It's like a zombie. I say it like that. It's like giving life to a zombie. It's like you are animating a corpse. You start to animate a corpse, and the spirit of that corpse can enter into that animated corpse temporarily and communicate with you. This is called evocation. Evocation. So there's a difference. It's evocation and invocation. So evocation is what I talked about. Whether you're animating the body of a deity or a spirit externally. Then you got the invocation where you do all this internally, where you become the altar. You are the altar and you are the temple. So you start to make offerings to the deity through yourself. And the deity can manifest its spirit through your vessel instead of an external vessel, which is what they call modern day possession. They call this being possessed. You allow your body or your vessel to be possessed by a spirit, and that spirit can help you to accomplish whatever it is that you're seeking to accomplish. So when you see people doing great things out here, you can best believe that they are possessed by spirits that's helping them to do the impossible. So if you want to tap into the possible, if you want to do things that people didn't even know was real, that's tapping into, that's called invoking the energy of the spirits or the elemental forces. Sorry about that. So hopefully that shit makes sense. I'm sure it does, especially for all my scientific people out there. So let's do the math. Let's do the math, right? It's a lot of red insects out here. I don't even know what these things are. But let's do the math. So let's just say it's like 100 people. See, every plane that's coming in. Let's just say it's 100 people on every plane. And let's just say only about 25 of those 100 people are about to spend some money on some pussy and some drugs and they'll fucking have the time of their lives and leave like nothing happened. And of those 25 people, these are all businessmen. So these are not cheapskates. These are not regular people that are just trying to spend a fucking weekend check. These is motherfuckers who trying to spend thousands. So you can say, cause I be looking at, I be in the casinos. I be looking at how much money people be putting into the machines. It's people that be putting tens of thousands of dollars in those machines. So they got the money. It's people that be seeing $10,000 in the machine. They start off with 10 grand and they just start playing. So they got their cash up. Trust me. They take 6 months just to build up that 10 grand and come to Vegas and blow all of it. So, all right. So 25 of the 100 people are all going to spend at least $5,000 on pussy and drugs. So you do the math. You do that math times how many planes you've heard come through since you've been watching this video. And you tell me how much money Vegas is raking in every day. But to each his own, right? To each his own. Free the nipple, definitely free the nipple. Definitely free the nipple. Like I said, I don't have no problem with it. I mean, I'll be seeing these women basically having down there nothing on, with the see-through shit. I just nod my head like, yeah, I know who you are. I know the purpose you serve, and I'm just gonna enjoy the show. I enjoy the show. I enjoy it. You know what I mean? Who the fuck does it? Even other women enjoy the show. I be paying so much attention to people because I see the difference between the front people put up versus who they really are. Like women will have you believing that they don't like other women, when that's just not the case. You know what I mean? When you see a woman that's built, their body is built up, just as many women is looking at them as men. You think it's just the men. No, the women is looking too. They're just more sneaky. They looking at them fat asses and them big titties or them small titties and them little asses that look nice. They looking at all that shit. Cause it's nice. Like, who the fuck don't want to see that? You know what I mean? So, and vice versa. It ain't just the women, it's everybody. The men too, would be men looking at, you think other men not looking at dudes with big ass muscles or bodybuilders or like motherfuckers that's looking like Bruce Lee? You don't think other men is looking at, it may not be in a sexual level, but you still looking at it like, damn, look at them fucking, like, oh, that's crazy. You know what I mean? So motherfuckers, I just look into the reality of people and not what people, the front that people are trying to put on. You know what I mean? I'm looking past the mask. All right. What's up, T-Flex TV? What could I learn from reading the Kabbalion? Well, that's teaching you about Gnosticism. That's teaching you about the deity Tahuti or Thoth. That's teaching you about the 7 universal laws. You know, that's teaching you about the way the universe works from a celestial level all the way down to a terrestrial level. So if you really want to understand the dynamics behind the universe from a metaphysical perspective, then you definitely should check out the book, The Kabbalion. It's going to pretty much reveal the metaphysics of life that we can't really detect with our physical eyes. You know, so that's definitely going to reveal all of the unseen and unknown and the occult secrets behind the reason why things appear the way they appear. For example, it's like the law of cause and effect. So when you study the law of cause and effect, you understand that everything happens for a reason, even if whether that reason is positive or negative. What you put in, the energy that you put into something, you will get it back in a different form. It's called the conversion of energy. Cause and effect is basically converting or transmuting energy. You are transforming energy from one form to a different form. Okay, for example, I'm going to put in X amount of hours at work to get X amount of dollars. That's called a conversion of energy. That's cause and effect. I'm going to put in X amount of hours, and in return, I get paid X amount of dollars. That's called the conversion of energy. So even though you can say, what does you moving your body has to do with making money? It's about energy. It's the energy that you are giving to whatever it is that you're giving, and it's going to return to you in the form of currency. So you can do that with or without a job, though. You're not limited to a job, but that's just the science of how they have all this designed, right? So just giving you a quick example of that. So that's the Kabbalion. The Kabbalion teaches you the metaphysics of life beyond the seen realm. So for all my metaphysicians out there, all my occultists, all my esoteric heads, all my hip-hop heads, definitely check out the Kabbalion. Thanks for the straight deities and the magician facts. No doubt, bro. No doubt. I'm just serving my purpose. So definitely. Y'all probably getting tired of these planes, so I'm gonna get up out of here in a minute. I'm pretty sure y'all I'm just letting y'all know I wanted to do the video right here so you can kind of tap into the frequency of Vegas. This is how much money is rolling into the city in alternative ways. So definitely, just want to give you all a sense, because like I said, I be on the West Coast, it be all calm, but actually it's always energetic in my videos. You either hearing sirens, there's no sirens in this video, right? No sirens, but fucking planes all over the place, right? So no sirens, but they was replaced with planes and buses and cars and all this stuff. It's all good though, right? But as you see, Vegas is very chaotic, but if you learn to tame the chaos, then the world is yours. You know what I mean? I can walk up to the crackheads and the drug fiends and get whatever I need from them, because I'm not afraid. If you show no fear, you can get whatever you need to get from anybody using your metaphysical training and knowledge. So, with all that being said, I definitely want to encourage everyone. If you received any type of insight, definitely don't be afraid to like the video. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. Don't be afraid to leave money in the Cash App. Don't be afraid to get a service from me, if that's what you're into, right? Don't be afraid to exchange the energy, right? Don't be afraid to exchange the energy in how you see fit. You know what I mean? And that's why I say how you see fit. What's going on, man? So if you may not have your Cash Up, it's free to like the video. You may have your Cash Up, go ahead and get a service from me if you want to take it to the next level. You know what I mean? Also, again, I got the book coming. And hold on. It's all type of shit, right? It's all type of stuff. Like I said, I got the book coming. And I'm doing the courses as well. I'm going to be doing courses. So shout out to everybody who hit me up in the email who wanted to inquire about the courses that I'm going to be doing after I finish the book. So definitely. So I'm gonna constantly be putting out new ways for y'all to exchange the energy with me. I'm definitely not going to stop just at the natal readings and the tarot readings and just doing videos. I'm going to continue to expand and to do as many things as I can to get people right, to make sure that they are on a level that they're supposed to be in when it comes to the magical elements of life. Because I know that where else are you going to get this information from? So that's why I do what I do, because I'm like, where else are you going to get the information? If you're not getting it from somebody who's authentic, then where are you going to get it from, right? So I make myself available so you can get this work. That's all it is. So again, salute to everybody who don't mind the energy exchange. Trying to tell y'all think motherfuckers don't be believing me, right? So I just gotta show and prove. It had to be at least 20 airplanes that have came in these little 2 hours, right? All right. Do I take PayPal? Absolutely. Absolutely. My PayPal email will be in the description of this video or any video. So definitely check out the description of the video. But if you want the email now, the email is Freedom of Raw Expression. Spelled exactly the way it sounds. Freedom of Raw Expression. Freedom of Raw Expression @gmail.com. So that's the email that's linked to my PayPal. So if you don't do the Cash App, you know what I mean, definitely you got PayPal as an option as well. Those, again, the link will be in the description as well if you need another reference. You know what I mean? So again, shout out to everybody who don't mind the energy exchange. Shout out to everybody that's benefiting from these videos, that's putting all these things into action so that they can see what I'm saying in real life, in real time, with their own eyes. So now, you know what I mean, now you start to watch the videos from a different perspective, because now you're seeing things with your own eyes instead of all the stuff that I'm just speaking about, you know? Oh, okay. It's I need it now, not I want it now. Okay, I see you, Ian. I know it was something like that. It's all good. I appreciate you for correcting me with that, because again, I didn't fucking know. Let me wipe this camera off. Hold on. Wipe the camera. All right. I see you, Sierra. Sierra gave a $5 super chat. I always appreciate the exchange. So salute to you. You know what I mean? I definitely know you be tuning in. You definitely be tuning in on a lot of the videos as well. So I definitely appreciate everybody. I see a lot of familiar faces. So I know y'all been riding with me for the past 2 weeks, for the past month, for the past 3 months, for the past 6 months, 9 months, a year. I know it's motherfuckers who've been riding, who was with me when I was in New York, who was with me when I was in LA, who was with me when I first came out into the streets. I already know. You know what I mean? Just to collect, I'm gathering all this information, right? So I know it's a lot of familiar faces. So definitely salute to everybody who has been seeing the journey play out in real time, who has been seeing it play out in real time, and who knows that it's authentic and everything is truthful, you know? Because again, and I just want to place emphasis on that, because I be having a lot of people are afraid to do business, you know, with people like me, you know, because, you know, of what happened with somebody else. Again, I don't want to name drop nobody, but there's a lot of people who are labeled as scammers, who scamming the people, right? There's a lot of, so it's like people are, you know, for people like me, they be afraid to do business. Like, yo, he may be trying to scam me out my money and all that, you know. So, because again, I've had conversations with people who are like, yo, don't do me like this brother did me, or don't do me like this person has did me. I'm like, yo, come on, you know what I mean? We not doing that over here. We not scamming nobody over here. But I understand why a lot of people may be afraid to do business because of that. And I see the 888 donation by Becca. Salute to you, Becca. Definitely. You know what I mean? Again, everybody that's been riding with me since 2006, not 2006, 2016. Sorry about that. So y'all already know what was I doing in 2016? It's been a while, right? It's been a while. That's like 2 years ago. But so you see it. So y'all see it. So if y'all been studying my journey, you see that it's getting more and more and more advanced. I'm not talking about the same stuff I was talking about 2 years ago. I'm not talking about the same stuff I was talking about last year. I'm always updating the information because there's a lot of things happening in real time, as we see, right? All this is happening in real time. So y'all see the evolution. And again, we just getting started. I'm just getting started. I know I didn't had a YouTube page for years now, but I'm just getting started. I'm getting younger. I'm not really getting older. I'm getting younger. You know what I mean? I'm getting younger in my spirit. So I'm just getting started. So it's more to come. Y'all definitely going to see a lot more. And as long as I have breath to breathe, y'all going to constantly see me elevate and evolve on all levels. So I'm just letting it be known. What's up, Precious? What up, Sierra? I see you, Sierra. You appreciate the content. And I appreciate giving the energy. I appreciate giving the energy because I know it's needed. It's needed in this time. We're in very chaotic times. And so it needs somebody to kind of balance things out for people, because a lot of people be afraid, be crazy. They don't understand it. So coming from somebody who's authentic, who's not judging the energy, who just seeks to understand the energy, but not to cast judgment. And if you take that energy into your life, then you will see a difference. When you no longer judge, you're not caring about what the average person is doing, how the average person thinks. You are elevating your mind and your spirit and your soul and working your soul. That's why you do what you do, regardless of whatever method. So if that happens in a job, then so be it. If that happens in the streets, then so be it. Again, I'm not here to tell people what path to take. I'm just here to let you know that there are many paths that you can take, and you don't need to feel no type of way about the path that you chose for yourself. Just know that you can find success in any path. So I'm just show forth in my path, and I encourage everybody to show forth their path. Like, yo, I was doing regular shit, but I started to study the occult, and all the regular shit I was doing, I'm still doing regular shit, but I see regular life through the eyes of the occultists. So I see more than everybody else. Doesn't make me better than everybody else, but it enhances my life because I have the magic eyes now. You have been granted the magical eyes to see more, to see deeper, to see further. You still may do, you know what I mean? I do average shit, just, you know what I mean? I do the same thing everybody else does, right? But because I have the magical eyes, I can see more. So I have a certain type of foresight and insight. Still do regular stuff. I still get up, you know, walk around like everybody else, put in work like everybody else. But when you have the magical eyes, you can do a lot more. You can see a lot deeper and a lot further. You know what I mean? So that's the whole point. That's the whole context. I'm just giving you life from the eyes of an occultist in real time. And if you benefit from that, again, you know what I mean? Don't be afraid to show the energy exchange, however you choose to do that. So that's all I want to say. You know what I mean? Again, I appreciate everybody who donated, everybody who has got a service from me, everybody who will get a service from me in the future. Again, the donations, all the comments that the people made, all the questions. You know what I mean? Everything, just, you know, just to let the world know that we live, we lit, we here, we not going nowhere, we building up a community. You know what I mean? And we not afraid to let it be known the truth of what's going on a spiritual level and on an occult level. And that's what it is. We got the 13. So we got the 26, 13, 13. 26 people watching, 13 thumbs up, $13 in the super chat. That's all 13, right? 13, 13, 13. The number 13 is a lucky number. It's not an unlucky number. You know what I mean? Don't let them fool your mind. That's a very, very lucky number. 13, 13, 13. Definitely the number of the serpent. Definitely the number of chaos, but chaos in a controlled fashion when you are able to control your mind. So you may be experiencing chaos around you, but make sure that chaos is on the external level and not on the internal level. On the internal level, you're at peace, even if it's chaos going on around you. This week is Friday the 13th. See, there you go. See, I didn't even know that. See, that's what I mean. See, people be putting me on shit that I don't even be aware of. I don't know everything. So Friday the 13th. So definitely mark that day on your calendar and do some type of magical working so you can pour that energy into you and magnetize yourself and see the difference. It's all about energy. Energy is the new currency. Energy. Gather and generate as much energy as you can. Energy, energy, energy. Energy is going to take you to the astrals. Energy is going to take you to wealth. Energy is going to take you to living the lifestyle you want. It's energy, building up energy. That's why you're working with deities. That's why you're working with spirits, because why? They like energy. You give them energy and they will give you material possessions. They will give you women. They will give you money. They will give you men. They will give you whatever resources that you desire in exchange for energy. So the more energy that you can generate, the more things that you can accumulate in this material world and the more spiritual abilities that you unlock within your brain. All this is a manifestation and an effect or after effect of building up and generating more and more energy. So with that, I'll leave it there. So we at 12%, so I'll leave it there. And I'll get it to y'all very, very soon. You know what I mean? So I definitely wanted to take a couple days break, get my thoughts right so I can have something to present y'all, you know, and I guess this is professional. I don't know. You know, you're on a cell phone outside with a bunch of planes, but I definitely wanted to keep it professional to the best of my ability. I'm just fucking around, you know. I'm just letting y'all know the real, reporting live from the underworld. So till next time, I salute everybody. Peace, Hotep. Salute to the warriors. Salute to the magicians, pimps, prostitutes, the 9-to-5ers. You know what I mean? Everybody building up their wealth, the entrepreneurs. Salute to you. I'll see y'all a little bit later. Definitely check out the links in the description. Definitely check out the email. Check out the links in the descriptions. You know what I mean? Much peace, love, and light to everybody on their spiritual journey. Move with no fear. Be fearless. and let that fearlessness manifest in your reality and show and prove. Peace. We out this motherfucker.